Yeah, BDG Boxing, we back, man. We back with another one. I'm gonna just get right to it. I'm gonna get right to it. I feel for sure the WBC is gonna save boxing, right? I like how they operate over there. I don't know who's doing the matchmaking for the WBC, but I'm loving it, right? So we know not too long ago, Shakur got stripped of his 135-pound title due to not paying his sanctioning fees, right? And he's going on this run of, belts don't matter, names do, right? He's just calling out all the names, the biggest names in boxing, telling them to come meet him at a catch weight, right? 144 pounds, and they can get it on, right? I'm just here to say, yeah, we belts over names, right? Belts, because structure is added when we have belts, right? Belts holds the sport's accountability. Because then we get all this Boots versus Virgil nonsense, right? You feel me? Boots calls out Virgil. Virgil calls out Golden Boy. Golden Boy calls, you feel me? When it's a belt involved, let's say Boots had a belt, right? If Boots had a belt, none of this would be going on, man, because, sanctioning bodies add that accountability and structure to the game, man. We need belts, man. And for sure, if Boots had a belt or if one of them had a belt, right, and Virgil was his mandatory, we would see that fight. We will have to see that fight, or he's stripped, and we'll know that, hey, Boots is ducking. We'll know who's ducking, right? So we need that structure, man. But I think the WBC is going to save boxing. I think for sure we're going to get Shakur versus Tank Davis off the WBC, man. Now, hear me out. They're putting together some great fights. Shakur was stripped of his 135-pound title, and now the WBC has ordered William Zepeda versus Lamont Roach, right? Now, we seen all this back and forth. We know Tank versus Shakur is the biggest fight in boxing. And we always seen the rumors or the talks of it, or everybody just want to see it, and it never happens, right? Now, I think the WBC is going to save us from all that nonsense, man, by making two common opponents fight for Shakur's vacant belt, right? We seen William Zepeda give Shakur his best work to this day, right? It wasn't T.O., a champ. It was William Zepeda who gave Shakur his best work, in my opinion. And then, Lamont Roach gave Tank a draw, right? So Lamont Roach, I think, in my opinion, won the fight against Gervonta Tank Davis. There's no timeouts in boxing. You can't take a knee. So I think Lamont won. But they're having those two common opponents fight each other, right, for Shakur's vacant 135-pound belt. And now I think Lamont Roach wins this fight. We'll see. But with that being said, man, I think the WBC will eventually order, right, Tank versus Shakur, right? Because if Lamont wins this belt, right, and Tank comes back, Shakur, how are they not one of the top 10 135 pounders? There's no way if you don't have them on their list, right? Lamont wins the title. He becomes the WBC champion. I think it'd be a heavy push for them to fight, right? Him and Tank, right? We'll see that too, right? And from there, I think Tank does beat Lamont Roach and becomes world champion for the WBC. With that being said, we know the order is going to come. It has to, right? Shakur saying 135-pound or the 140 is his. Those are his division still. Let's see, man. I think the matchmaking over at the WBC is going to eventually make that happen, man. Tank is on a return to fight Pitbull Cruz for 2. I seen one. I watched it twice now, or I think I fell asleep the second time. Pitbull gave him a tough fight, went all 12, but I think Tank is gonna beat Pitbull with 2 working hands now, right? I think he's gonna beat on Pitbull, even if it's at 140. I think he's gonna beat on Pitbull. And with that being said, man, I think the push for Lamont Roach and Gervonta Tank 2 will happen. I think they have a long history. They could definitely make that fight happen easily, right? They made the first one happen, and then takes over the WBC at 135 pounds, man. And we know that order's coming, right? When that order's there, we know who ducked, right? And eventually, I think it's gonna happen, man. I like the matchmaking over at the WBC, man. But let me know in the comments what y'all think.